What's up, Gemini? I am Isaac, and this is going to be a reading for those of you with the sun, moon, or rising sign of Gemini. Before we get into the cards, let's go ahead and talk about the astrology that's going on right now. I wrote out a little bit of a little horoscope for you guys. So, this is what we got. So, you start off the month, or at least the weeks leading up to the month of February, feeling like you're on top of the world. But be careful, the foundations of your success could be more temporary than you think. Depending on depending on what those foundations are made of. Is your success built on honest hard work, dedication to your craft, or some kind of higher goal that extends beyond yourself? Or are those foundations built on lies, shady deals, and manipulations? Many Gemini have unknowingly dodged a devastating blow in January. Some of you may have maybe not dodged that devastating blow, either to your ego or your finances, or possibly both. If you did, it was likely only because of factors that were outside of your control in someone else's life, because it seems that there's someone who is likely seeking to exact some kind of revenge on you, Gemini. Or it could be that this other person is jealous of some sort of success in some way and they want to take you down a notch or two. And with Gemini, being that you are the twins, we very often have to talk about two different groups of Geminis, because there's the ones that are tend more towards honesty, and there's the ones that tend more towards deception. And Gemini, I mean, it's almost like a stereotype that Gemini is the deceptive, one of the most deceptive of all the signs. Gemini and Scorpio, really. Not to say that other signs can't be deceptive. It's just that Gemini and Scorpio tend to have the greatest potential for it. So very often you'll find that Geminis abuse their mental abilities to sort of manipulate people. And if that's you, you're going to find very likely that you may have tried to manipulate the wrong person, and they may have a little more up their sleeve than you realize, and it might really hurt when they finally decide to get back at you. But if you're somebody who's more honest, towards the honest side, you don't have to worry so much about it. It's just more that there's somebody who's jealous, and that can be just as dangerous of a motivator for somebody. But anyways, let me continue reading here. If you're trying to keep secrets of any kind, it is likely that you've been found out, or you will be soon. Uranus in the 12th house is not good at keeping secrets and tends to leave evidence behind in big ways. So those of you who are prone to engage in the more deceptive side of the Gemini energy, enjoy this golden period while it lasts, because it's likely that with Mars in your 7th house, making harsh aspects to multiple planets, someone has you in their sights, and it's unlikely you will know who until whatever damage they seek to cause you is already done. Some of you may be met with the difficult realization that you severely underestimated someone in your life who proves to be more than capable of standing up for themselves. The main damage will likely be done to your ego, but depending on the nature of the connection with this person, it could also be your bank account. So somebody who you maybe made a bad deal with and thought you were going to work one over on them, and then they actually end up getting you when you thought you were going to get them because they found out about your schemes. But again, more often than not, those of you who watch my videos, I mean, that's not really you guys usually. People who are into this kind of stuff and into my channel especially tend to be more towards the honest side. But for the sake of thoroughness and just what I see in the chart, I feel like I need to address both. And for cross-watchers, it can be helpful sometimes too to address the more the darker side of the reading. But anyways, so if you're the type of Gemini who seeks to be honest in their interactions and business dealings, it's likely that jealousy is the motivating factor rather than vengeance for this other person. But either way, it seems Gemini has a secret enemy who is determined to try to rain on your parade. This could be an ex, a business partner, anyone you have some kind of contract with, whether it be verbal, written, or just implied. Just an agreement that was never actually made, but like kind of it's unspoken, you know what I mean? So if things start out going your way this month, try not to get lost in the reverie of it all, or you may get reckless and make mistakes, which leave you open to negative outside influences. So regardless of which type of Gemini you are, if things are going well, don't just throw caution to the wind and get caught up and just, woo, everything's great, party, party, party. Try to stay balanced and understand that if you get reckless and sloppy, there may be people who either want to get revenge on you because you did something shady to them, or they are jealous of you for your success and they want to try to take you down. And if you are finding some level of success in your life, you're going to find the more success you have, the more haters you have. The more people are going to try to manipulate you and try to take you down. The farther you go, the more people try, the harder people try to stop you. So with the North Node in your second house, you may find that you will be thanking yourself later on if you've been saving your own money instead of relying on the finances of others. The path to success is paved with haters whose egos never allowed them to progress beyond a certain point. So that's kind of the astrology of what I've been seeing here for Gemini. So let's get into the cards. So, there's no need to be hyper vigilant or super paranoid if you're worried that somebody's jealous and trying to do something. Just try to be alert, try to be respectful, and it doesn't even matter because this person, whether you're respectful to them or not, that's not what they're concerned about. They're concerned with trying to trip you up. So just be careful about who you let in to your inner circle to where, they have the ability to maybe kind of manipulate or do something or get in your way somehow. And then those of you who are the more deceptive ones, again, serves you right. Let's see here. So we got the Knight of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, Four of Wands, Strength, Nine of Pentacles, the Tower, Emperor, and the Two of Wands. So, in keeping with what we were just talking about with the astrology and everything, this does seem to line up because, speaking of lining up, I can't get these cards to look straight on the camera. My camera must be tilted. Anyways, that's not important. Again, there's always two very different sides to Gemini, but I would say this is talking to the more positive camp of Gemini, who is kind of more oriented towards truth, honesty, empathic traits, that kind of stuff. You're increasing in self-worth. You're seeing yourself in a more positive light, like in a really good way, and you're gaining more and more self-love, I think. And that gives you more faith in yourself. Why can't I get these in the right spot here? There we go. Sorry. So you're gaining higher levels of faith in yourself, and that's what strength is all about here with this Knight of Pentacles, is you seeing on greater and greater levels what you really bring to the table and just working on yourself, being more confident, and you're, I think, finding some success in whatever your chosen field is, whatever your career is. This Nine of Pentacles. Maybe some of you are self-employed, or maybe you just have the ability to just have a lot of freedom within your job for some of you. And it's going really well, I think, or it's going to continue to go really well throughout February for those of you who have been focusing on, creating something with a strong foundation. But there still could be a relationship here that sort of, you kind of get blindsided by it because this person's kind of a frenemy. The jealousy we talked about before, this is going to be very likely somebody you don't see coming, somebody who pretends to be your friend, but really it's kind of the keep your enemies close, or keep your friends close and your enemies closer. They're just trying to stay close to you because that's how they can do their damage, is by making you think that they're on your side. So just pay very close attention to who's actually happy for your happiness, who seems to poke fun at you, who tries to make you feel down, even if it's those little jokes that your friends sometimes say that are really deprecating and kind of tear you down. Well, those aren't always exactly jokes. Sometimes those are masked as jokes, and they're actually truly just their jealous opinions. But just recognize that your defense against whoever this is that's going to try to sabotage you in some way, the only thing they can actually do to you is get you to doubt yourself and to they can only just affect you and the way that you interact with yourself. They're not going to try to do anything, I don't think, like physical. This isn't somebody who's going to try to actually physically hurt you or do something that they can get caught for. They're going to maintain plausible deniability so that nothing can be traced back to them unless you see it. And even when you see it, you'll probably not be able to call them out because of this whole passive-aggressive sort of theme that's going on here. They're probably the kind of person that's expert in avoiding accountability. You may not want to see this person for who they are. This could be somebody that you had a really positive opinion about, who you really thought was on your side, and then all of a sudden you start to notice these little things, and then all the pieces start to add up, and you realize, holy crap, maybe the problem I've been having is not actually what I thought it was. There's actually somebody who's trying to manipulate me, maybe even succeeding in manipulating you. Which, as a Gemini, I'm sure a lot of you are like, nobody can manipulate me in my superior intellect. Like, well, if that's your attitude, you're even more likely to get manipulated, because then you're going to let your guard down because you think that you got it all under control already. But basically, if you find that somebody does come along in your life that's trying to trip you up and cause you problems, and you're just doing your own thing, you're not really doing anything wrong, you're just trying to be you and express your true talents and your true self in the way that feels right to you, they can't actually do anything to you as long as you don't let them affect you. So once you figure out who the mole is, so to speak, as soon as you know who it is, well, you know, and now they can't affect you anymore. So their biggest trick, their greatest defense, is pretending to be your friend, staying on your good side, making you think that they are a good person. Because if you don't suspect that they might actually be the culprit, this sort of secret sabotager here, then they can just continue on doing whatever they do, and then you're likely to go and run to them when things go wrong and confide in them because you think they're your friend, and all you're doing is just feeding more information to your enemy. So yeah, let me pull a few more cards here. Yeah, I just remembered that the last reading I did for Gemini, I think I titled it, for January, I titled it Liars Beware. And this is why. So those who did not take heed to that warning, I have a feeling you're really regretting it right about now. Because I feel like for some of you, like you thought you were sitting pretty on some kind of situation where you were really getting, you were doing well. Everything was going great, but it was because of something where you were kind of stepping on someone else. You were kind of creating some of, this is talking to the more deceptive side of the Gemini camp here, but you were sitting pretty. Everything was great. You thought, oh yeah, this is great. Everything's going fine. Maybe even laughing all the way to the bank while you kind of screw somebody else over. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they do something here where you're like, oh crap, like I'm in a way worse position than I thought I was going to be in. And that's bound to happen. If you're going to play people, you're going to get played eventually. Somebody's going to catch on, and they're going to be smarter than you think they are, and they're going to catch you before you pull your scheme. And then you're going to be the one to suffer for it. And you know who you are. If you're watching this video, you know who you are. You know if you've been cheating people. You know if you've been dishonest, and there's nothing you can do to stop this at this point. If that's you, February, you're going to get a hit. You're going to get, I think that it's going to be financial more than anything else somehow. A business partner backing out in some way. A roommate leaving last minute before telling you they're moving out. Whoever it is that you think you're working one over on, they're actually working it on. They're actually toying with you, and you don't even realize it. And they're sitting there like laughing at you because you think you're laughing at them. So there's just a lot of like It's just easier to avoid that whole thing. People don't seem to understand that it's actually easier to be honest and just not deal with all this lying, manipulating kind of crap, because you just waste all your energy on it and it doesn't actually get you anywhere anyways. Let's see, let me pull a couple more cards here for you guys too. Yeah, so you might try to express that. You might try to express your frustration with this person, but in a passive aggressive way, where you try to act like you're just wounded by it. That you're like, oh, I can't believe you do this to me, when really you know full well what's really going on, and you're just trying to get them to feel bad and come back to you and give you what you thought you were going to get, and so you can continue to keep them roped in your little scheme. You're going to try to keep this person entangled with you. You're not going to blow up and tell them F you. You're going to try to charm them, when really what you're really feeling is, I want to destroy you. So cross watchers, if you're watching this, watch out for these people who will try to sweet talk you back into their good graces, even though they're really just trying to keep you around so they can continue sabotaging you and drawing their narcissistic fuel from you. But again, most of my watchers this doesn't apply to. I go into the darker side of things, mainly because for the sake of cross watchers and for the sake of just being thorough. Well, let me see what else we got for you guys. So switching back over to the more positively oriented side of Gemini, you guys need to be aware of the fact that your greatest, the weakest spot in your armor is your tendency to sometimes see things in the negative and really beat yourself up. Sometimes that overactive mind of yours gets turned inward on yourself, and you start just tearing yourself apart. And you have to realize that is the weapon that jealous people who might be trying to trip you up, that's what they can use against you. They can't really, whoever we've been talking about, this jealousy thing that's trying to get in your way, because one way or the other, Gemini's got an enemy who's trying to screw with you. But again, I don't think they're going to do anything illegal. They're not going to do anything actually physically harmful. They're going to try to get you to doubt yourself. And the people who are best at getting you to doubt yourself are those people who you think are really close to you, but they just say these kind of nasty, cutting things every once in a while, or they'll just make comments that are kind of passive aggressive. Oh, you're wearing that, huh? Or that color doesn't look, just whatever it is. They just try to find little things to kind of poke at your confidence that may seem completely unrelated to whatever it is that they actually want to sabotage in your life. So they don't go for the thing they want to destroy. They go for your confidence. Because if they can destroy your confidence, then they automatically destroy everything else that you're going towards. And I know it sounds terrible, but I mean, there are people who operate like this, and they're common. We live in a dualistic reality, and for every good person, there is somebody who seeks to cause harm. And it's just their nature. It's how they operate. They're wired that way. But on an evolutionary standpoint, these people actually serve to make you learn more about yourself and become more conscious and actually evolve faster than we would if we didn't have negative people to have to deal with sometimes. But essentially, on a deeper level, if you do find that somebody tries to launch some sort of an attack on you, emotionally and mentally, recognize that this is just another test. This is sort of this is a test to see if you're going to catch it from the universe. To be like, have you learned yet? Have you figured out yet the game that's being played here? Why you continue to run into certain problems? Why certain friends turn out to be so... it's just, there's certain problems that come up in life that didn't really make sense. But once you start to recognize what we've been talking about throughout this whole reading, I think that's when you simultaneously start to become more aware of how you interact with people and what some of your relationships are based in, and you begin to heal this. You start to let go of that tendency to tear yourself up when things go wrong, or when you do something wrong, or when somebody says the wrong thing to you, especially somebody you care about whose opinion matters to you. But I see you kind of powering through. I don't think whoever this is that wants to trip you up, there might be a hiccup, they might throw something in your path, but I think overall you're gonna overcome this, and that it's not gonna you're not gonna let them stop you with whatever it is that you're trying to do here, because you're determined, because you're seeing it for what it is. So you're gaining greater levels of what I would call emotional literacy, applying your logical mind to the emotional world and your relationships to kind of have a better grasp of why certain relationships go the way they do, and that there are some people who, like I said, they don't attack the thing. So say, for instance, you have a business or something that you feel really passionate about and that you work towards really hard and you're having success with it. They're not going to attack your business. They're not going to attack the actual thing they want to get rid of that makes them jealous. They're going to attack you and your sense of self-worth and your character, and they're going to try to defeat you emotionally, because if they can defeat you emotionally, they take out the whole foundation of everything else that you're working on. But I think you're going to overcome it. Like I said, I think you might catch this person. It might be a little bit of a sting to realize, like, oh man, I thought you were my friend. I thought this person was on my side. Turns out they're actually like my biggest enemy, and I had no idea, because they were so passive aggressive about the whole thing. But like I said, when you understand the game, it has no effect on you. It'll have some effect on you because these people are just toxic and they can dump their toxicity on you, and there's just very little you can do. Like if you're interacting with a toxic person, they're going to get some of their crap on you one way or the other. But if you know what's going on and they can't run their scheme on you by making you think they're on your side, they have no real effect on you. You can just get rid of them in some way. You can just stop interacting with them. So anyways, hopefully that's been helpful for you guys. If you want to schedule a private reading and get deeper into this stuff, what might be going on with you, just send me an email. All my information is down in the description box down below. Remember to leave me comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, take care.